our friend from MLB.com, Kennedi Landry. Kennedy, what's happening?
Hello, how are y'all doing? I'm good out here in Surprise, Arizona. So hoping to get back to Texas soon, but nice to talk to you guys.
Yeah, it's good to talk to you as well. An off day for the Rangers out there. First of all, was it a lovely day or was it just okay?
It was a lovely day once I got the Jeff Passan notification that Dylan Cease wasn't getting traded to the Rangers, and I can exhale.
Okay, let's talk about that actually, because we had seen kind of, especially I believe Ken Rosenthal had given us a little bit of insight into this, and that maybe the Rangers, could be interested in Dylan Cease. First of all, did you kind of see the presence of White Sox personnel that could have been maybe scouting potential get back? And secondly, what do you think of the prospect that the Rangers were looking towards Dylan Cease to possibly add to the rotation, as opposed to maybe conversing with Scott Boras for Jordan Montgomery or something of the like?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a few of us, Evan Grant reported as well that the White Sox the Rangers were speaking to the White Sox about, talking about prospect return, this, that, and the other. The last couple of days is kind of, where there's smoke, there's fire kind of thing. So, there was a thing that was going around that we were all hearing. And when it came out, I saw the prospect return and I was like, it seems like something the Rangers probably could have, finessed a little bit. But that's a deal that obviously makes sense for the Rangers to at least inquire about at the very least. Obviously, what Jordan Montgomery is asking for, what Scott Boras is asking for, doesn't sound like something the Rangers are willing to give right now. And Chris Young is obviously working under some monetary constraints placed upon him by Ray Davis. Obviously, with the Bally situation, there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes there that we have to consider. Payroll is going to be at an all-time high. That's come up multiple times before, but obviously the rotation is what it is and the depth is what it is. A few of these young guys haven't quite grabbed hold of the opportunity at hand this spring. So the Rangers obviously had to go out and, have some discussions with a few different places, whether that be Scott Boras and Jordan Montgomery or, White Sox and Dylan Cease. So this is obviously something that the Rangers had to inquire about. Obviously, it wasn't meant to be. They must have liked the Padres package a little bit better.
And now that this Dylan Cease deal is done, do you think this will cause any other kind of ripple effect, especially in the pitching market? Do you see some other pitchers maybe going to find some new homes now?
I think it'll be very interesting. I think everybody's still kind of confused about the Blake Snell, Jordan Montgomery situations here. We're less than, I think, 2 weeks out from opening day, and what are those pitchers going to look like if they, get onto a team, within the next few weeks before spring training ends? So I do think, a few things maybe not the Dylan Cease situation that may have ripples, but even looking at the Yankees and Garrett Cole, or just other injuries and things that happen, everything has a ripple effect, a butterfly effect here and there. So I don't want to say specifically Dylan Cease, that trade will have the domino effect quite like, you asked, but a few different things here and there I think do change things across the league.
We're talking to Kennedi Landry, MLB.com, about your Texas Rangers. And Kennedy, first base is an interesting place because, obviously Nathaniel Lowe has that oblique strain, and it seems like he's likely to miss opening day. Who does it seem like has the best footing to maybe, work in his stead? Because I know that Jared Walsh has shown really well. It seems like the coaching staff likes Foscue. Like, who does it seem like is in better position or best position to maybe step in there?
Yeah, those two guys are obviously the two off the top of the bat that you're like, yeah, they need to, grab hold of this opportunity. And I think they've both really done really well. Justin Foscue obviously he has a lot of roadblocks in his place since being drafted. Obviously, Josh Young at third base, Marcus Semien at second base. Wyatt Langford may end up being the opening day DH. So there's a lot of different things that have stood in Justin Foscue's way, even as he's, become a better player, honestly, each year throughout the minors. So he's been taking ground balls at first base. He's played some games over at first base, and the bat obviously plays. We've seen that throughout the minors, and we've seen that this spring. So if he can provide serviceable defense at first base, I think the Rangers would be happy to go into opening day with him at the position. And he's already in the 40-man. I think, if anything, that's at least something that the Rangers will have to consider when it comes to roster construction. Jared Walsh, obviously a veteran player, an all-star in 2021. With the Angels, had some neurological issues last couple of years that kind of hindered his play that we've seen, and he's come out swinging this spring. Like you said, The coaching staff really likes him, but Bruce Bochy has had some great things to say about him, and even hitting coach Tim Hires had some great things to say about him as well. So I think it'll be very interesting to see how that plays out. I think Jared Walsh at the very least can be a Travis Jankowski type like last year. He came in on a minor league deal and then ended up being a really important piece for the Rangers down the stretch in the World Series run. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that he makes the roster as well down the stretch here.
Well, speaking of great things to see and to say, what have kind of been your thoughts being down there and surprised seeing Jack Leiter? I think a lot of people maybe were expecting him to make that step, but didn't know if it was actually going to come, and now he's contending for maybe that 5 spot in the rotation. What are you kind of seeing from his progression?
Yeah, I think this is the first spring, we've kind of come in and see Jack. He looks a lot more comfortable. He seems more comfortable. He's confident. The way he talks to the media just seems like he knows what he's doing here. And not to say that he didn't know what he was doing in the past, but maybe it felt like the weight of everything maybe held him back a little bit. Obviously, he struggled, and that could be, mental, physical. A lot of things, had to do with that, especially with the shutdown last year as he fixed some mechanical issues. But he's working the spring. You can see, when you look at all of the young guys who have kind of been optioned back to minor league camp, Jack Leiter is still around even when, Owen White, Zach Kent, Cole Winn have gone back down. So the coaching staff obviously sees something that they like in him enough to keep him around and keep getting major league innings in the Cactus League this spring. And, it seems like at least in his few Cactus League outings, he's pounding the zone. He's, dealing less walks, allowing less homers, less hard contact. There's still some hard contact here and there. Not to say it's completely disappeared, but especially it seems miles and miles better than what we saw those first 2 seasons in the minor leagues here. And I think even if he doesn't, break camp with the big league club, I wouldn't be shocked if he contributes throughout the regular season this year for the Rangers.
Now, Kennedy, obviously from DFW, there's some questions that people have about this team. Will Wyatt Langford break camp with the team and those types of things? But for you, out in Surprise on the ground, what are the questions that you're still looking to maybe see answered or solidified over the remainder of spring training?
Yeah, my number one question is really how the back half and then the depth of the rotation really plays out. It seems like Cody Bradford is in the driver's seat for that number 5 spot. He's looked good this spring, working a changeup in, trying to land that for strikes. But, like I said, behind that, you've got Owen White, Zach Kent, Cole Winn, Jack Leiter, who, 3 of those 4 have kind of struggled throughout Cactus League play. And at times it feels like, the rotation is an ankle sprain away from disaster. And you hope that's not the case. Everybody hopes that's not the case. But that's really my biggest question these last few weeks of spring is, how is this rotation going to pan out? And again, the depth behind those top 5 guys.
And jumping to another spot, the bullpen. I mean, we've seen Mark Church throw some great stuff. All the coaches have been praising him really well. Do you think there's a chance that this rotation looks better than it did last year? Because that wasn't
bullpen
really
rather.
Yes, that bullpen looks better than it was last year because it wasn't really a strong point of the team. Do you think it could look even better?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this bullpen is in a much better place going into opening day this year than it was in 2023. You have a healthy Jose Leclerc, a healthy Josh Sborz. You have 2 veterans that came in David Robertson and Kirby Yates. And like you said, Mark Church, who's been the most pleasant surprise of spring for me, being able to watch him and talk to him. He's such a fun kid to talk to. I think I wrote about him a couple weeks ago. He was a high school shortstop who didn't start pitching until his senior year, and it's worked out for him. I didn't make it in my story, but he listens to like Beethoven in his off time. He listens to a lot of different types of music. He loves Future, obviously. He's an Atlanta kid, but he's got a diverse musical taste that is really fun. And he's been my biggest, like I said, pleasant surprise this spring. And I think, if you have him coming in, making the roster, and even a few of these veteran non-roster invites, like a Danny Duffy or a Diego Castillo type, I definitely think this bullpen is in a much better place than it was last year.
Kennedy, MLB.com covers the Rangers. What would you say to somebody if they pronounce the name of that musical artist that you mentioned earlier, Beethoven?
Beethoven? Wait, how did I pronounce it?
No. You pronounce it, I think, what people typically pronounce it as.
Okay.
A mutual friend of ours, his name rhymes with marriage slander. He might have pronounced it Beethoven. as opposed to
Oh.
Beethoven.
That's rough. That's rough.
Yeah, okay, very good. I just wanted to see if that one elicited a cringe reaction or if that was all good.
No, it's a little cringe, but I let it slide. It's fine.
And last question for me, Kennedy. Outside of baseball, you being down there in Surprise, Arizona, what has been something that you've enjoyed doing outside of being on the field?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't done much of anything out here. I'm not a hiker. So today's off day. I laid by the pool, got a little book. I'm in the Barnes and Noble parking lot right now.
Nice.
Gonna go in and buy another book when we get off the phone here. But you know, I've just kind of chill when I'm not at the ballpark. Like I said, I love to lay by the pool. Just have a good book. I think I mentioned it last time I was on your show. Actually, there's a book bar here in Arizona where you can, it's a bookstore and a bar and a wine bar.
Wine.
It's really great. I go out there a few times this spring too. So. I'm really boring. I watch a lot of movies, I read a lot of books, and I watch a lot of baseball.
Best movie you've watched of late?
Oh, I Dune too, 1,000%.
That's right.
Everyone's saying that.
Great answer. Great
Everyone's
answer.
saying
Yeah,
that.
I'm finished reading Dune, the book at the pool today. I'm here to buy the second book while we're at it. So.
I love it. Yeah, get that Dune Messiah going for sure. Lisan Al Gaib. Best vibes during camp thus far?
Best vibes in terms of person, or
I think I'll allow you to just decide how it's interpreted.
Okay, best vibes. Best guy to talk to in the clubhouse, Danny Duffy by far.
Okay.
He has great vibes. He's always, mingling with the media. He's chatting, having a good time, playing cards at the table. He's I think whether he makes the club or not, I think he's a quality addition to this organization. He has great vibes. I enjoy talking to him.
Most exciting conversation with a non-player during spring training has been?
Ooh, that's a good one. Anytime I get to talk to Tim Hires about hitting, I think it's a great time for me personally. I think he's it's sometimes hard to find Tim because he's always in the cage. You want to talk to him and they're like, oh, he's working in the cage with like Davis Wenzel today or something, which is great. You should do your job. But, sometimes I need to talk to him. But every time I talk to him, I'm just having a great time. He's so insightful about, the science of hitting and the art of hitting. It's never boring with him. And, the Rangers have a great coaching staff around. Tony Beasley obviously is a fan favorite. He's a favorite of the media as well. But anytime I see him, I think it's the best guy to chat with.
All right, now Kennedy, what was your expectations win total wise going before spring training to where it is right now? Has it changed at all? Has it gone up, down? Where are you at now?
I don't remember what I said last time I was on the show. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it,
I don't know that we asked actually.
Whatever. Has your perception changed? It doesn't have to be an exact number, but do you feel a little bit better about this team?
I feel really good about this offense, and I think that'll carry a lot of it. The offense and defense, I think, will be great, and like I said, the top half of the rotation, I think, is in a great place. I think I've hovered around 85, 90 wins. I think when I've talked to people, depending on how a few things fall, the bullpen's in a much better place this year. I don't think they're going to have a 40% save percentage this season like they did last. So I think they're in a good place. I'll stick with around 85, 90. I think it'll be a dogfight at the top of the division, obviously with the Astros being the Astros, and I think the Mariners are still a really good club over there. So it'll be a really fun season. It'll be really interesting, and especially as we get towards the trade deadline when those injured guys in the rotation get back, it'll be a lot of fun to watch.
And real quick before we let you go, obviously I tried to give this time a little bit to breathe, but obviously when we started camp, there was a lot of conversation about the Fanatics made Nike uniforms and the scandals around that. Now that we've had a little bit of time during camp and we've let the initial scandal of it fade away, has it felt like a level of issue with the jerseys at all, or were we just all in the moment?
I think it was all in the moment, personally. I think guys forgot about it. The jerseys look fine, the pants look fine. Nobody's even talking about it anymore. I hate to be the whole social media blows things out of control, kind of out of proportion kind of person, but that's really what it felt like in the moment. And now, a few weeks removed from it, I don't think anybody really notices. Sure, I think the lettering on the back could be a little bigger, but I think it's a big nothing burger personally.
This is the capital J journalism that we turn to you for.
Love that.
I appreciate you greatly. Her name is Kennedi Landry, at Kennedi Landry on Twitter. Kennedi, appreciate your time. Go inside that Barnes & Noble, have some fun.
I thank y'all so much for having me. Y'all have a good one.